Back here doing my college football playoff predictions, the winners of the semifinal game and the national championship. I did this on the big show, but I'm going to explain it in my little video. It's only about a 5-minute video. Number 1 seed, Alabama, 13-0, SEC champions. I think everyone would not be shocked. Pretty easy, pretty succinct. Number 2, 13-0 Ohio State, Big Ten champion. Pretty easy, pretty succinct. Nobody would be shocked. Number 3, Clemson. I do have them having a hiccup. I forgot which game it was. Let me look at Clemson's schedule while I'm doing this. Oregon. Okay, so Clemson. Which game do I have them with? I have them beating Georgia Tech, 1-0, beating Furman, 2-0, beating Louisiana Tech, 3. Wake Forest, 4. North Carolina State. That was the game. It's at home, but I actually have them losing to North Carolina State. 5-1 Boston College, Florida State, Syracuse. Notre Dame's the game on the road that's a tricky one, but I have them winning it. Louisville at Clemson. Miami at Clemson's a game that would be tough, and then South Carolina. But it was the North Carolina State game. North Carolina State beat them last year. I think they actually got them again this year, believe it or not. But then Clemson comes back, wins the rest of their games, and is able to beat Miami to win the ACC championship. Check. I don't think that many people would be surprised. They obviously didn't make it last year. And I'm not totally sold that Clemson's going to be back. I could see, like, especially when I looked at that schedule, they could lose to Notre Dame. They could lose Miami even at home. Is a tough game. It is at home. North Carolina is at home, but Wake Forest on the road. They have some tricky games. They could lose a couple, but I have them winning. So 12-1, 3rd seed. Check. Who's my 4th team? Well, let's break it down. You're immediately going to say, Georgia. Where's Georgia at? I have Georgia going 11-2, going to the SEC championship and losing to Alabama. I have them getting upset during the regular season to South Carolina because, well, South Carolina upsets them every few years. It's weird. They do. So an 11-2 team that doesn't win their conference. Let's keep that in mind. How about the Big 12? I have the champion being Texas, 10-3, being the champion. They beat Baylor, who would lose and be 10-3 and not win the Big 12. So the champion's 10-3. I have Oklahoma going 10-2, but not winning or even playing for the Big 12 championship. When I ended up breaking down the game-by-game predictions, I don't see a playoff team there. Okay, let's go to the AAC. So we've done the ACC, we've done the SEC, we've done the Big Ten. Oh, I could go back to the Big Ten. 10-2 Michigan doesn't play for the Big Ten championship, doesn't win their division. I think that takes them out of it. Nebraska 9-4, they're out of it. So let's do the AAC. I have Houston going 11-2 and winning the AAC over Cincinnati, who also finishes 11-2. That's not going to win it. Independence, I have Notre Dame being 9-3, and I have BYU being 9-3. That's not going to do it. Pac-12. I have an 11-2 champion in Utah. Now, they beat 11-1 Oregon, who beat them earlier, to get there. If Oregon would have won, obviously they're the third, maybe 4th team at least, maybe the 3rd over Clemson. 11-2 Utah versus 11-2 Georgia. That's what it comes down to, in my opinion. Let's see. I went through their schedule. I have Georgia having 4 victories over teams that finish in the top 25. But they lose to South Carolina, who I do not have finishing in the top 25. And they don't win their conference. Utah, 3 victories over teams in the top 25. They win their conference. And one of their losses was to Oregon, who they revenged to win the Pac-12 championship. The other loss is to Florida, who finishes in my final top 25. On the road. I think this would be kind of controversial, but I think Utah gets it over Georgia because they win I think the tiebreaker is who won their conference. And If it would have been something like Utah won one game over top 25 and you have Georgia with 4, then I could see them going the other way. But a 2-loss team that does not win their conference, I think will not get in unless it's just the most drastic scenario. There's never been a 2-loss team that's made it, and I actually have Utah making it. I then have Alabama soundly defeating Utah. I have Ohio State beating Clemson by a pretty good margin, and then it's Ohio State versus Alabama. I think Alabama goes in as a favorite. I think they're going to be the more consistently good team throughout the year. I think people will think that Alabama, I think it'll be one of those like 65-70% Alabama, 30-35, but I think CJ Stroud and that ridiculous offense finds a way to pull off a close kind of semi-upset, and Ohio State wins the national title. That's my prediction. Check with me in 4 or 5 months, and we'll see if I'm right. Ohio State over Alabama for the national championship. Thank you, guys. Check me out at sportscast.net or sportscast1 on Twitter. My Twitter handle is @TurnerCast. Thank you.